knock on wood, we haven't given up a pass or a play over 30 yards in 2 games. And
after 2 straight dramatic last-minute victories for the BYU football team, now the road gets a little bit tougher as they head to LA. And it's the biggest test, arguably, that BYU will face all year. I'm Jared Lloyd, BYU football beat writer and sports editor for the Daily Herald. Joining me, Darnell Dixon, BYU football columnist. And Darnell, how big is this game, do you think, for BYU?
You know, Bronco Mendenhall was asked that question on Monday, and he said it's not any bigger than any other game. But you have to look at it, at least from our point of view, is that it's a really big game because they've gone 2-0 against really good opponents.
That's something we can really build on and try to build a culture around being really, really tough at the end of the game when we need to be and shut teams out. And in the fourth quarter, that's a neat stat to come away and not be scored on in the fourth quarter in 2 games.
It's a big game, 2 top 20 teams. We're going into the Rose Bowl. They're just like Boise State, they're just like Nebraska, and we've beaten both of those teams. And so as long as we play our game, we'll be able to be successful.
When you beat Nebraska on the road and you beat Boise State, those wins matter. They mean something, and I think it means that this team has a belief in themselves.
It's always good being an underdog, especially playing away games. One of our main goals is to just shut out the fans. You know, when you get the fans getting into your heads, there's nothing better than when they just shush. You know,
last year when BYU was 4-0, there were still some grumblings because we knew something wasn't quite right. The defense wasn't stopping them enough. They were beating Houston and Virginia and teams, UConn. Doesn't matter who they're playing, they believe they can be in it, and that's half the battle.
You never know who's watching, and it's the best way to spread the name. And if we win, or after the game, people will know who BYU is.
I think that it's important for BYU to start off well. I thought they actually did fairly well against Nebraska in that sense, even though they did fall behind. I thought they started well. You get on the road against a good team, you start falling behind, you start pressing, you start making more mistakes. That leads to turnovers, that leads to field position issues. So I really think BYU needs to start that game well and really, gain some confidence in the early going. So BYU at UCLA, and we're going to be in Los Angeles Saturday night. It's an 8:30 p.m. Mountain Time start, so another late game. But should be exciting to see what the Cougars can do against the Bruins.